Hey there, everyone. Welcome to another edition of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility. I'm your host, Pete Pardo, publisher and CEO of SOT. Today, we're going to take a look at a fairly new album release. All right, it's a triple album set, triple disc set. Just came out in early February, okay? Talking about the new release from Richie Kotzen, 50 for 50. You might be saying, 3 discs, 50 for 50? What is going on there? All right, so this is actually Richie's follow-up to his most recent album release, which was Salting Earth, all right, from 2017. Favorite of a lot of people. I've heard it's pretty damn good, right? So this comes hot on the heels. This is in celebration of Richie's 50th birthday. Okay, 50 years young. And he decided, he had roughly, from what I've read, he had roughly like a dozen or so songs ready for a 2020 release. And then he started discovering like all these other songs that had been in like partial stages of completion, things that he had been working on over the years. And before you know it, he's amassing all this stuff, all these compositions, and the music is just flowing. He's completing it all, and he's just like, you know what? Why don't I put together like a cool little project for my 50th birthday, 50 songs released on my 50th birthday. So that is what he's done. Of course, the self-released. So here we have 50 for 50. So let's take a little look at that. So that's Richie today. That's Richie way back when in the 80s, right? When he was a Shrapnel Records, guitar slinger, right? A shredder. All right, so there you got all various pictures of Richie Kotzen throughout his career. Of course, he was also a member of Poison briefly. He was also a member of Mr. Big briefly. Of course, he's currently also in the Winery Dogs, in addition to having a ton of solo records. And I think, if my memory serves me correctly, I believe this is his 22nd solo album, something like that. Crazy to think about. That's a pretty busy guy. So there you have all the CDs there. Like I said, 50 songs in total across 3 discs. A lot of stuff. So basically you got 16 songs on disc 1, 17 on disc 2, and then 17 again on disc 3. A lot of stuff. It has taken me a few weeks to kind of get through all of this a couple times, and I will say I'm pretty impressed. Most artists, if they were to tell you that hey, I'm releasing a new album, it's going to have 50 songs on it, you'd probably be like, oh, geez, wait a second. I don't know if I have the attention span to get through 50 songs, right, in any kind of a short amount of time. And that's what I thought, too, when I originally was considering picking this up. But I started reading so many great reviews, and I heard of a handful of tracks, and I was like, man, that's pretty damn good. And I've always liked his guitar playing. I love his singing, right? I don't have many at all of his solo releases, because he's just got so many of them. But I've always loved his talent. All right, and I figured I'm going to give this a try. So I will say, as you're probably aware if you're a fan of Kotzen, a wealth of different styles on here. 50 songs, 3 discs, you got to have some variety. You got to keep people's attention going, right? So it's funny because when I was playing this yesterday, listened to this quite a bit, Easter Sunday, doing yard work around the house, cooking dinner, having a couple of cold ones, right? And at one point, my wife comes walking into the dining room where I was hanging out, cranking this, and she's like, who is this kind of like Prince wannabe guy? It's not bad, though. And I was like, that's a guy named Richie Kotzen. Of course, she's never heard of him. But, he's a big fan. He's a big Prince fan. And I think that there's like I said, there's a wealth of styles on here. You got some really cool kind of funky stuff, really upbeat, groove-laden funky stuff, right? That's where the Prince influence comes in. You got some bluesy rockers. You got stuff that's pretty aggressive. I wouldn't call it metal, but, there's some like hard rock. Some of the solos are heavy metal style, blistering shred solos, okay? But there's a lot of feel, a lot of funk, a lot of blues, a little bits of jazz. There's a great song on here. I'm trying to think. I think it's Devil's Hand, which is track number 7 on the first disc. Which is actually the first song I heard from this album. I heard that and Stick the Knife. Stick the Knife is a great hard rocker. But Devil's Hand is a very cool tune because it's kind of like this really mellow, kind of epic, atmospheric, melodic epic. And then he breaks into like this like kind of real jazzy scat and George Benson style guitar solo towards the middle. And then at the end, he just starts wailing away on these bluesy shred runs, man, which is just really impressive. Just a really good song with just a really good emotional feel. But there's so many other good tunes on here. Black Mark, I'm trying to think of some of the ones. Again, I'm only like a few times into this, so I'm trying to Dark Places, Wide Open. What else? Circus Song, pretty interesting track. Featherweights, a lot of good stuff on here. Grooves to die for, and he plays most, if not all, of the instruments on here and all the vocals. I detected a couple different vocalists along the way, but yeah, it's quite good. It's quite good. I think if you just want to hear some really good, feel-good music with some great grooves, the rhythms are awesome. Very tasty guitar playing. Like I said, it's in spots it's very mellow, tastefully done. In others, he's just shredding away, right? But it's not the whole album, is not a shred album. So if you're looking for Kotzen Unleashed, right, you might be a little disappointed. But here it's all about the songs. And the vocals are great. He's just a really, really good singer. He's got that really kind of soulful, almost like kind of Chris Cornell type of voice, right? Really good stuff. I'm pretty impressed with this. And like I said, I wasn't really sure what to expect because, I was like, God, 50 songs, that's a lot. But I've now gone through this a couple of times, and, each disc flows really nicely. It holds your attention. It gets you humming. A lot of the melodies and hooks you'll remember, like, shortly after you hear it, right? And if you're a musician, you can't help but be, wowed by the impressive display of guitar playing that's all over this album. So I recommend this. 50 for 50 by Richie Kotzen. It's a little on the pricey side, but if you're a fan, you probably already have it. If you've been on the fence about getting any Kotzen, I would say start here, because you're going to get, even though it's going to cost you a little bit, 50 songs, 3 discs, good bang for your buck there, and it's really good. A lot of good material on there. So check it out. All right. This is on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Stay tuned. Coming up, ranking the studio albums of Cream. You don't want to miss it. See you then. Bye-bye.